Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So I thought I would share some more information and resources I had today. I've talked about this topic before, but I ended up finding a lot more information out. So I want to share what I found out about the different avenues of paying for IVF. We got a super scary price at my infertility appointment. Honestly, my brain kind of shut down when I heard the price. And it almost turned it into, well, I don't know if we're ever gonna have that. It was just such a big number, it was scary. And I didn't know what to do with that. I didn't know how to process that or how to even wrap my brain around how much it cost. But I started researching. I don't remember how I got the thought in my brain, but I got the thought that I'd heard somewhere that the Turner Syndrome Society actually gave IVF scholarships. I looked, they don't. They don't give scholarships for adoption either. Their official stance is not to do IVF, but I didn't see anywhere on the website that talked about scholarships for any of that. So I'm guessing they don't do it for either. So that resource was shut down. Then I started looking into IVF scholarships in general and kind of just Google searched IVF scholarships, and I did find some. I found what looked like could be promising leads on that, and then I also came across a blog post titled "What You Need to Know About IVF Scholarships," and I read it, and basically what it said was most of the IVF scholarships that there are have an extremely expensive application fee, which doesn't guarantee you're going to get the scholarship, and even if you get the scholarship, it's not generally an amount that makes a make or break dent in paying for IVF. Basically saying if you really want to, if you really just need that little bit of help, go ahead. Like, it's up to you. Every little bit helps, obviously. It almost could be not worth the work it takes, and if you're shelling out a lot to even apply for it, that can take away from one, what you have left over to actually pay out of your pocket for IVF. And two, you already need the money and you're not guaranteed to get the money by spending that big amount of money. So it can be a toss-up of if it's worth it for you, and you really have to weigh that for your specific situation. The other side of things I found is loans. Loans from banks, loans from organizations specifically targeted for IVF and infertility loans. And there's obviously the option to go through those to see one that fits you, try to get a good interest rate. But that's still a loan, and that is one option for getting it financed now and slowly paying it off. Just looking at interest rates would be important, and I would say that is a much more daunting task in my mind. So the best idea we settled on was a savings plan. This can be difficult, especially depending on your income level. It can take longer or it can take a shorter amount of time, and whether or not you have good savings habits, you really have to work on that to be able to make it work. But we kind of have both felt like, and I really started feeling like that was the way we could go through it without adding monetary stress to an already stressful situation, was to have a lump sum ready. Because while you don't pay for it all at once, it is piece by piece as you go through the procedures, as you go to the doctor's visits, all of that kind of thing is over time. But I just had a really horrific picture of getting partially through the process and not being able to afford to finish it right then, and how horrible that would be and how horrible that would feel. So I know Andrew really feels, and I really felt like having all of it prepared before we started would be better, like having all of it together. And we have found some really good banks to have saving accounts at. We have savings accounts going already, but I do kind of want to start one specifically for that, just because it is such a big cost cost, and that way it doesn't take away from what we're trying to save for outside of doing that, because we have a lot we want to have savings built up for. Paying for IVF can be scary. While I have not researched probably as much as I should or want to, I did gain a very big perspective on how best to approach it from researching, and I had gained some perspective on loans and scholarships and kind of what the reality of the help there actually is out there, and it's not a ton. Insurance companies do not cover most of it. You can have specific insurance for it, but you have to pay that, and there is still going to be co-pays. The nice part was for some of the tests I had to have done, because my endocrinologist ordered them and not the fertility specialist, it ended up being cheaper. I did not have to pay exorbitant amounts for the tests just because it looked like normal routine tests, and for the most part it was, to get me cleared for IVF. But as we would get closer in the process to the IVF and egg donation part of it, that would not be the case. So we still need to monetarily be ready for that, and that is not an easy thing. The price we got was $40,000. That includes the eggs, because we keep and have any eggs harvested, not just the embryo they would transfer. On top of, we would cover the costs of all of the medical procedures and medicine for the donor. There's a donor fee. So all of that adds up to, from what my specialist told me, $40,000, give or take. You can do 30 to 40. But if you're doing fresh eggs where it's straight transfer from a donor, gonna be probably at least 30. Then you have to weigh the cost of the success rate, because you're paying for the success rate. Fresh eggs are more successful and give you a higher success rate, and they do cost more. So there's also little things like that that you can along the way try to diminish the cost, or really think what you want to spend the money on, like what's worth spending that more amount on, that larger amount on, because I'm sure there's different testings you can opt out of if you want to, that would then maybe possibly lower the cost a little bit. Things like that are really things to think about when trying to pay for it. I would say have a very good savings plan in place before you want to start it, and really try to be as financially prepared as you can. So that is the information I got. Really had my eyes open with scholarships. I was a little discouraged with that because I had hoped it would be more helpful than it was. But that is what I ended up finding out as far as options to pay for IVF. Also, it'll pertain to your specific situation, because you may not need an egg donor, and that takes a huge chunk of the cost off. I hope this helped you. I hope this gave you some more information. If you have any more questions, please leave them in the comments below, and if you have any other information to share, please leave those in the comments as well. That would be awesome to read. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm gonna be trying to be really creative with videos over the next week and really try new, different creative stuff. So if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with everybody. Get the information out there. Start a conversation about the lack of help, or how you found better help for paying for IVF, and different ways you've found that are good to go about it. I would love to hear all of that. And if you are not already subscribed, click the screen and subscribe, and then you can see when the next video comes out, which should be the Mental Monday tomorrow. And I will see you guys in that one. Bye!